Hi, my name is Corey Brown, and this is my Module 3 Special Education interview. First of all, I interviewed our special education teacher in Victoria, and I interviewed our school administrator or principal there, building principal, and one of the 3 paraprofessionals that we have working there at our building. Their child find procedures, or basically identification procedures, according to the special education teacher, she goes off of teacher recommendation. So within the classroom, if a teacher identifies a student who is struggling, they will typically take that concern to the special education teacher and visit with her about that. Another avenue for that would be parent request. Occasionally, the special education teacher does have, or the classroom teacher comes to the special education with a parent who is concerned about their child's progress or some other form of behavior or something within the home or within the classroom. Then after that need is established, then the school psychologist or psychiatrist is brought in to observe that student and see what needs that student might have within the classroom. Then they bring in the parents and meet with them and discuss screening procedures that might need to take place from that point on. The administrator, he identified that we do have a kindergarten readiness program within our district, and that is a really nice screening process that we have for all upcoming kindergartners. They go through this, and any needs are flagged and any concerns are flagged. And so that's just a good way that we use to screen every single student going into the district. Preschool program, there again, the teacher in the preschool classroom, she can easily identify any concerns or flags that might come up, and then she brings that concern to the special education teacher. And then the administrator reiterated that the classroom teachers also are good avenues for flagging any concerns that might be for any of the students. The paraprofessional stated that just classroom observation, observing any students that struggle particularly more than other students or with special concepts or subjects. She also said classroom teachers typically are the ones to identify any students that exhibit any concerns, and then parent requests also were something that she mentioned as well. Some of the challenges of each of these individuals' roles, the special education teacher said that one of her main challenges is the overwhelming amount of paperwork regarding the IEPs and different things. She said sometimes at night she is up late at night filling out the paperwork, and weekends, many times it takes much of her weekend to get all of the necessary paperwork completed. Another challenge that she has are parents who enable the students. They do the work for them, and they don't let them work on their own. Another thing is the caseloads that are way too large, and so that special education teacher is not able to devote or dedicate enough time to each individual student. The assessments, the constant assessments that need to be delivered, and the paperwork that follows those. Motivating the students. A lot of times the students are not very motivated, especially in that special education classroom. And so keeping those students motivated is a real challenge for the special education teacher, she said. And then instilling the students with self-confidence. A lot of times they come in and they don't have academic self-confidence whatsoever. And so instilling that within the children and the students, that's a real challenge. The administrator said that some of the challenges within his role are hiring qualified teachers, the scheduling, making sure to schedule appropriate times for the special education department and the regular education department, and making sure that the students' schedules coincide so that all of their needs can be met. Parents, a lot of times the administration struggles with parents resisting the fact that their student needs to be placed in the special education program, and that they have maybe some academic challenges that need to be met. Parents a lot of times don't want to face that issue. And then the administrator also said that a lack of staff and lack of funding is a really big challenge nowadays. Paraprofessional, stated that being seen as a professional by the rest of the teachers sometimes is a big challenge. She kind of sometimes feels like she's maybe a second class or a second rate person within the district. A lot of times teaching students self-reliance. She says that they a lot of times just rely solely on them and they just can't do anything without her, and that is a real issue. Motivating the students, just like the special education teacher said. A lot of times they're not motivated. And then helping students to not feel self-conscious. She says that because the stigma of them being in the special education room, they are very self-conscious about that. Some of the rewards, or the most rewarding parts of their jobs, the special education teacher said that signing a student out of services is so rewarding. She loves that. Graduations, and then developing that relationship with the student, because the special education teacher has fewer students than the regular education teacher has. A lot of times they are able to develop a much deeper and a much more in-depth relationship with that student. And so she just says she loves being able to develop that real one-on-one relationship. The aha moments, I mean, just the look on the kid's face when they get that concept. And then sharing the progress of the student in the IEP meetings with the parents and the rest of the teachers. She loves being able to do that. The administrator said that some of the rewards of his job are signing a student out of services and seeing the students succeed. And the paraprofessional reiterated a lot of the things that the special education teacher said. She said that those aha moments, she loves that. And then, again, her being able to develop those real in-depth relationships with the students. Some advice that they each had on supervising the special education department and people within it. The special education teacher said that monitoring paras and making sure that there are accountability measures in place to make sure that those paras are doing what is expected of them at all time. She says that it's important in supervising SPED people to be involved and to constantly be in the classroom and in every aspect of that. To work with the special education department teacher in monitoring the paras, and to meet with the parents on a regular basis. The administrator said that in supervising, he thinks it's important to manage the roles within the classroom and making sure that that teacher is the boss of the classroom, making sure that the special education teacher or the para doesn't kind of try to overstep their bounds and take too much control within the classroom and remove that sense of ownership from the actual classroom teacher. Making sure that the teachers are complying with the IEPs is one of the administrator's big roles, and making sure that those teachers remember each student that has an IEP and what the requirements are for each one of those. And administrator again said to help to monitor the paras. That seemed to be a real underlying and repeated issue. The paraprofessional said that making sure that the paras are adequately trained. At the beginning of the year, helping to establish the roles of the paras in the classroom. She mentioned that having a meeting at the beginning of the year and sitting down and having the para and the teacher establish what the teacher feels like is the para's role and what the para is going to be requesting of the teacher, and just to really establish that role there at the beginning. And then the paraprofessional mentioned also, having constant, or not constant, but regular observations within the classroom is important. Their advice on how to work effectively with parents, special education teacher said organization is absolute key. They have to be organized. If the teacher is not organized, then the parents lose respect for that teacher and the working relationship is not there. Communication. Special education teacher did say that you cannot have too much communication, and to constantly share the positives. The parents of SPED students, she said, seem to get a lot of negative communication, and so when a special education teacher shares a positive, she says that's always a good thing. The administrator mentioned that, again, communication is key, and making sure to attend all those IEPs is very, very important in establishing that relationship with the parents. The paraprofessional mentioned that reporting the issues, any issues that might happen, reporting those to the special education teacher, and then making sure to let the special education teacher deal with the parents. That seems to be a lot easier, she felt, rather than so many people getting involved in issues, just constantly letting the communication be between the special education teacher and the parent. Seemed to keep it a lot more simple. Some of the challenges and some of the things that helped in working with regular education teachers. The special education teacher said that regular communication with the teacher, of course, is key, which communication seems to be an underlying continuous factor in this assignment here. The special education teacher said also to ask how you can help plan, but she said it's very important if you do that to not overstep your boundaries. It's because it's very tenuous relationship there. And to always keep the teachers updated on any IEP changes, and to make sure that those teachers are following the IEP for every student. It's tough, she says, because a lot of times those regular ed teachers that have so many students, they forget about a student's IEP or some factor or portion of a student's IEP. And it's important for that special education teacher to constantly remind that regular ed teacher of that. The administrator said to make sure teachers comply with the IEP and mediation between the departments, making sure that they're all getting along and agreeing. The paraprofessional said that, again, communication is key, asking teachers how they can help, and making sure to be an asset in the room and not just sitting there. Any advice for the first-year administrator? The special education teacher said to make sure to be familiar with the special education laws. She said to make sure to get to know each of the students and to know each of the teachers. Make sure to be aware of their strengths and their weaknesses and be able to help them with those weaknesses. And make sure to be constantly in the classroom, visiting the classroom and being very visible and present. And asking how you can help the department. How can you strengthen it? How can you improve it? How can you make it better? The administrator said that his advice for the first-year administrator would be to understand the SPED process, mediate everywhere, constant mediation between every teacher and SPED teacher, administrator, paraprofessional, the parents. Just mediating everywhere, making sure everybody is understanding everybody else. Knowing the SPED laws and getting to know the students, he said, was paramount. And then the paraprofessional said to get to know the students, to be in the classrooms, and let paras know the expectations. Describing the role of the SPED teacher and the principal, the SPED teacher said she comes up with the ideas and the principal makes it happen. And then she provides the discipline and he provides the support. And she introduces the concept and he reinforces it. So that's what she felt like were the roles there. The administrator said that working together to meet the program and meet the needs of the student is essential, and he's the mediator. And then the paraprofessional said that everybody needs to get along and work to help students. And then they all stated the characteristics needed by aspiring administrators were knowledge of SPED laws, knowledge of the roles, making sure that they're organized, being a communicator, and being encouraging. And then the administrator said making sure that you're hardworking, organized, have lots of patience, a love for kids, and a great communicator. And the paraprofessional said to be positive and have patience and be organized. My reflection in this, it was interesting to see how each person viewed the other roles, and communication was just the constant throughout the whole entire thing. My evaluation of it would be that most answers really did pretty much coincide and go hand in hand, and each person had a real appreciation for the other. And it seemed like keeping paras on task was a constant and prevalent issue. Projections, I found out that I'm going to need a clear understanding of SPED laws and roles. Communication is key to this. Organization is a must, and mediation is going to be a frequent requirement. And then keeping one goal in mind, I think, is going to be the key to underline all of the success of all of this. And that is always asking myself and everyone else what is best for the students. So thank you very much. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to the next assignment.